I love a good bargain as much as the next person, but with Black Friday and then the Christmas shopping season rapidly approaching, what about people who struggle with poor mental health? What impact does online shopping have on their finances, on their abilities to make sensible financial choices? Coming up in this video. Hi everyone, I'm Martin Bamford, a chartered financial planner and informed choice, and in this video I want to take a look at some new research I've just read which comes from the charity Money and Mental Health. Now, the charity, ahead of Black Friday later this month, have looked at some of the issues around online retail for people who struggle with poor mental health. And the findings in this research are fascinating. They raise some really important points. Firstly, the charity points out that online retail has been a lifeline for people who struggle with mental health problems, particularly during the lockdown for COVID-19, because its ease and its convenience means that it's just so simple to click and have things delivered to our doorstep the very next day. So there are good things about online retail. I think we'd all agree that online retail, buying things online, has lots of positive attributes, but there are also some negative things about it. And this research was fascinating from a point of view of what it means for people who struggle with mental health problems, this ability to shop online. The research points out that people who struggle with poor mental health often face many of the same common symptoms: impulsivity, reduced concentration, low morale, and as a result, their online shopping behaviour can be quite challenging. The research from Money and Mental Health points out that a number of features of online shops can push people to making poor shopping decisions and often spending more than they can afford. So things like buy now, pay later options, one-click purchasing, and often pushy, personalised recommendations of what to buy next. These can all drive us to spend more than we can potentially afford to buy things that we don't really need. And of course, this overspending with online retailers increases the risk of financial harm. Now, the research was based on a poll of 2,000 adults in the UK. It found that people who had experienced poor mental health in the past 2 years were more than twice as likely as the wider population to overspend with their online shopping. 29% of people with poor mental health had overspent online, compared with just 12% of the wider population. There is this really strong correlation between mental health problems and money difficulties, which is often not talked about, but it exists. It's a correlation that has been found time and time again. And the COVID-19 pandemic appears to have made things worse, really exacerbated this situation, with over a quarter of people with poor mental health reporting that they have overspent during the pandemic. That equates to around 3 million adults in the UK. Probably one of the biggest problems is the proliferation of the online buy now, pay later option. It seems to be on every single website these days, and lots of people, 56% of people with poor mental health, reported that buy now, pay later is encouraging them to overspend, to get into debt that they cannot really afford. As a result of the findings in this research, the charity Money and Mental Health is calling on the government and regulators to take some action. One thing they would like to see is the option on online websites, online retailers, to switch off the buy now, pay later option, so it simply doesn't exist if you ask them to take it away. And another is for a cooling off period to be introduced between placing something in a basket and then being able to purchase it. Doing both of these things, removing buy now, pay later and having a cooling off period, could help people with bad impulse control who have suffered poor mental health and who overspend online. They would also like to see the Competition and Markets Authority better enforce existing consumer protection rules, which would prevent online retailers from pressurising customers into making impulsive shopping decisions. Helen Undy, who is Chief Executive of the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute, said, "Online retail can be a lifeline for people living with mental health problems who may struggle to leave the house, especially during the pandemic, but pushy sites and tempting buy now, pay later offers can cause people to spend more than they can afford, risking both their financial and mental health. This is particularly challenging in lockdown, with many of us spending longer online, bombarded by adverts telling us that the latest new thing will make us feel better, At its worst, this can leave people in thousands of pounds of debt, with a single day's shopping spree causing years of misery. Now, I find this research from Money and Mental Health really interesting. Anecdotally, at least during the lockdown, there has been a sharp increase in mental health problems amongst the wider population. So this is something that affects a growing number of people. And as I mentioned earlier, there does seem to be a correlation between mental health problems and money difficulties. So it is really important to address this. I don't think that the online retailers are going to go out of their way to take action on this, to make it harder for their customers to buy things. And as a result, you need to look after yourself. So impose some of your own rules about how quickly you can buy something online. If you find something online that you want to buy, recognise that online retailers are making it their mission to get you to purchase that as quickly as possible. Now, one really easy, simple trick you can use is not to store your credit card details on any online retail website. It's just too convenient if you can click that as your payment option, add something to your basket, click and buy in one click effectively. So don't store credit card details. That action of having to remove your credit or debit card from your personal wallet every time you want to make an online purchase, that just puts a bit of a barrier, a bit of space between the impulse and the buying decision. So it's something simple you can do. You don't have to store your credit card, your debit card details on these shopping websites. And that's a way to protect yourself, but also set your own personal rules. If you add something to your basket, give yourself a personal cooling off period, 24, 48 hours before you finalise that purchase. Leave things in your basket for a day or two. Actually think about, do you really need them? Or was it just an emotional buying decision at that particular time? What other tips do you have for people who struggle with mental health problems, who find the allure of online shopping just a bit too much and may be tempted to overspend, get themselves into debt? As Helen Undy just said there, a day's shopping spree online can rack up thousands of pounds worth of debt potentially, which can take months, even years to repay, and can get people into real financial difficulty. So this is an important issue, and I think it's important we find as many ways as possible to support people who find it hard to moderate their online shopping behaviour. Let me know in the comments below, and let other watchers of this video know in the comments below what steps you take to avoid overspending on online retail, especially when that temptation strikes, when you feel you really want to buy something or you're presented with something that looks like a real bargain. Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Until next time, I'm Martin Bamford, and remember, when it comes to your money, the more you know, the faster it can grow.